Hey guys, Neomis here. Now, I know it's been a while, probably about 10 days since the last time I really uploaded a video, but I thought with everything that's been going on, we had this past Sunday, the game against Manchester United. I wanted to give a little thoughts around that, but until then, we got a Europa League game. Europa League game is against, repeat, let me get this the sound of it right. Molde is the name of the team, Norwegian team. Uh, Funnily enough, since we actually just faced Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I believe he was also our previous manager of Molde. And you know what? I predict this game should be a win for Arsenal, and I think the reason why is what we saw on Sunday. We clearly are the better side. We clearly are a side that, I mean, let's just be completely real. Quality for quality, we are better than them. But I would say that out of all the teams in the group that we have, this is probably the most challenging one. I think it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge than Rapid VN. And I don't think that we should kind of take them lightly. I was looking at where they are in the Norwegian league, and yes, they are in the Norwegian league. Where they are currently second in the Norwegian league right now. Just to confirm that, yeah, second behind a team I've never heard of, Bodo Glimt. But the third team I have heard of, Rosenborg, they're previously a kind of typical Europa League team. So they're in there as well. But Molde are going to be a little bit of a different challenge than Manchester United. I think Manchester United in the first half of Sunday's game kind of sat back throughout the game and then they came on and attacked. I think Molde throughout the whole of the game on Thursday, I think will be sitting back, trying to hit us on the counter attack. I think this is just going to be a game whereby we're just going to be there looking to try to break them down. And I expect to see quite a bit of changes in the starting lineup going in this game. When we have another game on Sunday against Aston Villa, which should be interesting, going up against Emiliano Martinez again. But against Molde, I expect to see a change. In the previous game against Dundalk, we saw Runnison get a run out, and I expect Runnison to also start in this game in goal. I think we'll see a return similar to the game against Dundalk. Think we'll see either Maitland Niles at right back or left back. I'd probably go with him at left back. And then I think we'll see Cedric Soares at right back. I think Cedric Soares in the last game against Dundalk was really good. And yeah, you can say competition had a lot to do with it. But I've always said that, you got to beat the teams that's in front of you. I mean, too many times I've seen with Arsenal Football Club and just with the team, we seem not to put teams away and teams that we should be historically beaten. And I've seen it time and time again in other cup competitions. I've seen it with previously Birmingham City League Cup final many years ago, about 10 years ago, a team we should have put on away. Even within early rounds of the League Cup, after that, early rounds in the FA Cup. So we can't take these teams lightly. Mother, we have to remember the Europa League are a competition that we want to win. I think it's another avenue in the for the Champions League. Finally, at last, it's just in regards to my video. I do have to apologize before I go on the team lineup. In that, I've had lots of work stuff coming the way, and lots of things have just been taking a whole lot of time. And I'm trying to balance out everything with being on 101 Arsenal, work, dedicating to my own channel, also just having time for myself as well. It's been quite difficult, and unfortunately, the channel has taken a bit of a hit in regards. So I hold my hands up high to say, you know what, it's my fault. I haven't been that great with the content over the past, I would say, 3 weeks, to be honest, since the international break. We must win at the Europa League this season. I'm not sure if we can get top four. I completely agree with you because I don't think we're going to get top four. But I will say that we are playing well. The game against Sunday, I have to admit, I put down as a draw. I know I didn't do a video on it, but I did think that game was going to be a draw. And for us to then lose at Leicester, which is another game I thought we would get a draw, for us to get 3 points out of two games that I thought we'd get to, I think kind of makes up for it. So as long as we can keep doing little things like that, then I think there's a chance for us to get top four. But I think once Chelsea get going and a lot of the players that they're coming in really fine form, like the likes of Werner and Ziyech, they're going to be a threat. Manchester United, you just know it's just a matter of time with them. I mean, Everton have started off really well this season. You've still got Spurs there doing their thing. You still got Liverpool and City, who we lost already this season, but you kind of expect that. So it's going to be a tough one. I say it's a must win, but I predicted a loss for United. Or a loss. See, so, I mean, there you go. Like, we end up getting the 3 points. Um, for me, I always thought that United was a game that their defense was always shaky. When you're letting Spurs put five past you, that's a problem. That is a massive problem. Like I think Spurs are a good side, but a side that is able to put five was it, I think it's 5-2 at the end or 5-1. I mean, it's just it's not good. It doesn't say a lot about their defense. And for me, Harry Maguire, even though it was 6-1, that's even worse. 6-1, uh, terrible, absolutely terrible. But you know what? We got the win against them. It's a win that we should have, and you know what? They played a lot better than they did against Spurs. But for me, a lot of the teams that are going to be challenging for the top four, I'm predicting draws. When we face Spurs in 3 weeks, I'm predicting a draw for that game. I'm just putting it out there right now. I think Spurs are now probably a little. Their attacking lineup is much better than last year. Defensively, I think they're a little bit weaker, and their midfield isn't quite as good as it was last season. But overall, they're going to be a tough side. And I mean, there's also like Everton as well to watch out for. I wish we could finish chances though. This is something that'll will bite us on the backside. You are absolutely right about that. I don't know what it is about our front three. And I know the game against Molde coming up that it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be kind of I would say a complete turnaround. I expect to see Pepe in that team, but our front three, at least for our main starting 11 in the league, just doesn't look good enough. And every time I look, I'm just like, wow, like Arteta, we've got to sort something out because I don't get what the problem is. Like it should be working, but it just quite isn't. I consistently feel like for me, Willian needs to be dropped in the league. I think Aubameyang should play up top. And I like the midfield that we played on Sunday, and I like the defense that we played on Sunday. But uh, up front on the left and the right, I think maybe Pepe should play on the left. And I think maybe in my last live stream, you said that you didn't like Pepe on the left. But for me, I like him on the left. And that's only because I'm going to put Reece Nelson on the right. I think we need we need wingers like out wide. I think that's the one thing that we can do. We really need to kind of help Aubameyang, help our forward play to be able to get something going. Because as good as Aubameyang is, he's not really a wide player. He kind of can start out wide, but he's always going to kind of come inside. And I think that if you play Pepe on the left, just because he's so left-footed, he's going to stick on that left side and almost inadvertently become a winger. Whilst Reece Nelson, for me, is a winger. Needs to improve his finishing, but I think in terms of creating chances, crossing and passing, I think he's pretty good. To be honest, we need a new striker. I love Laka, but he hasn't been very clinical with his shot. I think Laka's time at Arsenal's done. In January, well, closer to January, I'm going to be putting out a video on contracts once again, and I'm sure a lot of the transfer rumors are going to start. are increasing again over the next I would say, 2 to 4 weeks, just because Black has got coming up to a year and a half left on his contract, and we've got four young strikers. And I know you're talking about buying a new striker. You got Martinelli, you got Eddie Nketiah, you got Tyrese John Jules, and you got Follering Balogun as well. That's a player that we can play. Now I know he hasn't signed a new contract, but he is also another option. So I see at the very least those young players being given a chance. There is a chance I think we could buy another striker, but I think it would be somebody that's older, somebody that's maybe a few years younger than Aubameyang, or maybe around the same age. But somebody that could give you something different, maybe somebody like an old school target man, because that's something that we don't really have an experience, and he would kind of whoever would we bring in would kind of complement Aubameyang as well. By playing a left footed on the left side or right foot on the right side, you'll need midfield runners, which we don't. I disagree. I think we have that. It's just that we would just have to change our midfield slightly. You could play Joe Willock, who's a midfield runner. He's always gets in the box. You could play him in midfield as well. And you could also play Willian as well. Instead of playing two DMs, you could play two kind of number eights and a DM as well. So that's an option. I like Edouard, but like someone like Edouard, you're gonna have to play on a regular basis. So for me, it's either you play Edouard up front or Aubameyang. And I mean, we just gave Aubameyang a ridiculous contract, and yeah, Aubameyang can play out on the left, but we're having the same problems with Aubameyang. He just isn't as effective for me up on the left hand side than he is up front. I think it's affecting his goals. Uh, Unless we play two up front, that's the only way I see where we go back to like 4-4-2 or a 4-4, like either flat 4-4-2 or 4-4-2 diamond. That's the only way I see that kind of really going in play. And if we did that, then that would actually solve the problem with a lot of the young strikers that we have as well, because you're gonna have two main forwards who you're gonna start, which would be Aubameyang and Edwards, and then your backups would be like Martinelli and Nketiah or something. Willock won't play. Tobias, no, Willock will definitely play, like for sure. Uh, he will get game time. Ceballos isn't that type. Ceballos, you're right. Ceballos hasn't really shown that, but when Ceballos was at Real Madrid, he was touted as an eight. He was in the under 23s, and he won man of the tournament, and he played as a number 10, which is why Real Madrid looked at him as a number 10. But for some reason at Arsenal, he doesn't look like a number 10. He looks more like, I wouldn't even say an 8. He looks more like another DM. And I mean, he's a good player, but he needs to improve just a lot of the final third run of his game, like the final pass, the scoring goals, the creating chances. That's something that I think would kind of be better. Keep going, bro. You're gonna grow soon. No, no, I am. I sometimes it does get a bit. I guess not down put, but sometimes you think, oh, like now I've just hit 500 subscribers, and you want to keep growing, but I know a lot of that takes consistency, and that's something that I do struggle with. But I will keep trying, and I keep trying to provide good content, and just giving you guys the best that I possibly can. I really, really will. Jacques, Xhaka for me is gone, and Sunday proved that. I, I'm going to tell you this right now. I do not want to see Granit Xhaka starting for Arsenal unless it's in the Europa League against Molde and Dundalk, or any one of these teams who I really do believe that we're better than. Those are the only type of fix my camera. No, you're laughing, but I don't want to see Granit Xhaka in my starting lineup. Like, he's finished with El Nene and Thomas Partey in there. He's done. Like, even El Nene and Ceballos in the midfield. We found this out, what, first or second, no, second or third game of the season? Granit Xhaka is gone. I cannot wait. I heard Man City were looking at him at one point. Man City come in for him. Like, take him. He's done. Uh, and then he doesn't make a lot of runs historically, but I mean, and then he's been a massive improvement. I've never been a fan of El Nene. I can tell you that right now. Even under Wenger, I always thought he was okay, and I always said that he just lacked the physicality that was needed. And now we have a midfield which puts the physicality there in Thomas Partey, and look at him. Like, it's done. All his weaknesses that El Nene has is supplemented by Thomas Partey. Thomas Partey can run from deep. And I know we haven't seen that quite yet, but he can. This is why if you play another player around him that can also play in the midfield, it would release Thomas Partey to get forward a lot more, which is something that you rarely used to see from him at Atletico Madrid, but he can do, and he does so with Ghana a lot. So like, there is a player there. I mean, you're not going to see Thomas Partey scoring a lot of goals. I will say that. Like, he might get maybe 2 or 3 goals, couple of assists per season, and that will be like the end of that. But like, Thomas Partey could go. Yeah, I'm not a fan of him. Yeah, that's a Shaka. I feel it isn't. I think the Premier League is far too physical for Granit. I think it's far too quick for Granit Xhaka. I think it's done for Granit Xhaka. Partey's very mobile, makes a lot. Yeah, I think he's one of the only players I would say is the only one that could beat the press because of his physicality and because he can get forward. Allow him doing that. I'll tell you, I'd see one. Listen, I don't care whether it's City. Any team that wants Granite can take him. I'll take him. And you know what? For me, I'm very biased because I still haven't forgiven him for throwing the shirt down and doing the whole ear thing in the Arsenal stadium. For me, like, as far as I'm concerned, like Lauren Koscielny, like, I'm done with you. Like, I really am. But yeah, for me, Thomas Partey is a monster. I don't think he will start on Thursday though. I don't think that. I think we'll get a lot of the same lineup as that we saw at Dundalk. Do you think Partey was most? Yes, I really do. For me, that midfield needed something else. And you saw it against Manchester United. For me, if Thomas Partey is not in that midfield, we don't win that game. We don't. The best we're doing is drawing that game, maybe even a loss. And I think you mentioned that before in the chat that you thought we were going to lose the game. Without Thomas Partey, we would have lost that game. It was so bad that Manchester United were bringing on all of their physical players to deal with Thomas Partey in that midfield. They brought on Matic to deal with Thomas Partey. They tried everything that they possibly could do to stop Thomas Partey, and they couldn't, because when they tried to deal with Thomas Partey, it was like El Nene was right there nearby helping him out. You got Saka nearby helping him out. Even Bellerin had the best game of his life helping out as well. Like, it was a beautiful team performance. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Awa is a good player. Creative wise, I think he's very good. Wouldn't offer much defensively, but if the club still want him and the club still believe he can provide some type of creativity, then so be it. I don't think it'll happen in January though. I think it'll happen in the summer, us creating a creative player once Mustafi and Socrates and David Luiz and Mesut Ozil go, and then potentially you might even end up selling Lucas Torreira. You might end up selling Guendouzi. So in the summer, there's going to be a lot of money that Arsenal could end up having. So Xhaka Hogan. I don't know who he thought he was when he was doing that. But for me, he was just taking the piss out of the Arsenal fans. And for me as an Arsenal fan, I can't stand that. Like, have respect for the badge, have respect for the club. I understand that, you know what, us Arsenal fans, we're very demanding. And we can be dicks. We gotta admit that. I mean, you see how like a lot of the fans on AFTV are. Like we can be very, very bad, but you don't do that. You have to be mature about the situation. And you know what? It's not like fans in the stadium were, shouting any racist abuse at him or throwing stuff at him. Like I'm not. Yeah, I'm not gonna stand that. And after all of that, after all these months, not even give up on apologies for me, Granit Xhaka. If I had a soundboard right now, I I would have the Granit Xhaka. You're dead. Just you're done. You're finished. Explosion. That would be it. I'm tired of talking about Granit Xhaka is the past, people. Party and El Nene is the future. Maybe Ceballos if we can get him for a decent amount. But for me, with Thomas Partey in there, I think I wouldn't mind with what I've seen from Ceballos so far. I wouldn't mind him going back to Real Madrid, unless he scores more goals for Arsenal and creates more chances. So that's my kind of 2 cents on that, bro. We are not taking our chances even against Leicester. Do you think our forwards ain't doing enough? I think it's the players. I think the balance up top for me is just not right in our starting 11. I don't think we'll spend in January, to be honest. Same here. I don't think we'll spend in. Mustafi got more abuse. Yeah, Mustafi did. And maybe it comes down to the type of person Mustafi is compared to Granit Xhaka. But and I mean Mustafi got a lot of abuse. Like some of the things that the likes of DT those were saying on uh AFTV about him, like it wasn't good. And then when people saw it online, people took it to a whole nother level. I heard people say that was I hope saying that they hope he died and like some really just bad stuff. Like it's just like he's not good. He's not good enough. But like you don't go and abuse the guy like that. Um, for me, outside of the whole YouTube stuff, I believe in like mental health and promoting confidence in people. And when after he started to improve under Mikel Arteta, he put a post on Twitter talking about how like all of that affected his mental health and his confidence. And I was just like, wow, like like that's when a football player is coming out and being honest like that. That's not good. And like whatever you think about Mustafi, he doesn't earn that. He doesn't. It's not right. Like I heard Arsenal offered him a new contract in my last video. He didn't. He chose not to sign it. Fine. Goodbye. Thanks for the memories. Um, you won't be missed. But like, yeah, it just is what it is. It's just thanks for everything, but goodbye. That's my take on Mustafi. Um, Jeez, oh god, I'm getting all type of Windows notifications right now. Jeez, the hell that this is why social media is embarrassing. I don't have Twitter for this reason. I listen. If it wasn't for this channel and for Twitter being another avenue for me to share my content, I probably wouldn't be on Twitter either. Because some of the abuse that I see online, it's just not right, and a lot of it is just over just stupidness. Sometimes it's just people just having a complete difference of opinion, and it's just not right. It's not healthy for people, and I mean I could go on a whole nother video on about it, but I personally me I don't like it. I really don't. I've never been that much into social media, but when you're doing the whole YouTube and you're in football and you're trying to grow a channel, you're kind of forced to have to engage in that. If it was just old school, face to face meet up with people, like that's good. That's great. If I could go meet up with some fans and like have a drink, have a bit of chat, maybe even a bit of banter, then that's fine with me. I'll accept that. But football is really toxic. Yeah, the whole toxic part of football is it's just unnecessary. Hello, Dolphins looking really good this season. Yes, Abdul. Yes, you see how we dominated yesterday. We are. He's talking about NFL. Like I'm an NFL fan, Dolphins fan. I don't watch much of the games, but I do occasionally check in on the Dolphins. And I mean, I've like my family supports them, dad supports them, so it's been a long time, and it's good to see that they're having a good season. Apparently, Fred is better than Party. Who told United? Get off. Listen, right. I do think Fred is a good player. At least he's a good workhorse type. But Thomas Party, absolutely not. That they need to stop disrespecting Thomas Party like that. That's a joke, ridiculous. But oh, start 11. So let's see. Runnison in goal. This is for the Europa League. Let me finish this, and then we could talk about general football stuff before I leave. So Runnison in goal. I'm probably gonna go with David Luiz and Pablo Mari with Cedric and Maitland Niles at left back. I'm gonna go 4-3-3. In midfield, Ceballos, Joe Willock, and unfortunately Granit Xhaka. And up front, I'm going to go with Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, and Pepe. That's my starting 11. And I think that starting 11 should be good enough to beat Molde. But yes, we finally got a good DM. Well, actually, we're playing with two DMs. So I guess that's what was needed all the time. For me, Thomas Partey is almost a complete midfield player. And I think when you mix El Nene in there, it just makes sense. It really does. It really does. But guys, with all the comments, like, what do you think the score for the game on Thursday is going to be in the Europa League against Molde? I'm going to go with a 3-1 victory. I think Molde are going to be a little bit more of a test than the Rapid Wien. So let me know your thoughts on that. I think 2-0 simple. 2-0, okay. I think 2-0 is fair. 4-0 clean sheet. Oh, even better to be. Even better to be. For me, only reason why I said we concede a goal is because I don't know. Runnison for me hasn't been tested, and when we signed him, and I put my video out on this on the channel in terms of like transfers, like Runnison looks like a backup goalkeeper. In all of his stats, like he's statistically he's isn't anywhere near Leno or Martinez, but he is very good at commanding his area, and he's very good at his distribution, which is probably why the club brought him in into the club. But I think this is going to be a good first test for him, uh, and let's see what he can do. I don't know, but really bad. But I just know that when I looked at his stats, if Leno and Martinez are Premier League goalkeepers, I would say Runnison is would probably be equivalent to a top level, maybe like top eight, top 10 championship level goalkeeper. That is what I would say Runnison is at. That's my honest opinion. I don't think Runnison is anywhere near being able to compete with Leno, and that's my honest opinion on that. Four people in the room. Come on now, like thumbs up, like the video. Does help the channel out if you haven't done so already. Okay, I thought Leno would start. Um, I mean, I guess Leno. It's okay for Leno to start, but if Leno's playing all the time in the Premier League, and to be honest, he'll probably play most of the. He'll play the rest of the League Cup. I think what our next game is probably going to be Tottenham if they win their game in hand. Uh, so Leno's probably going to play the last kind of important games of the League Cup. Like, let Runnison get a run out in the Europa League group stage. I say, um, we've got a piss easy team. Like Rapid Vienna and Molde are probably like they're the only sides that I would say that I'd heard of. Dundalk, I'd never even heard of before. Like they're those sides that I've heard of when I'm playing career mode on FIFA and I'm starting out in League Two, and they go and try to buy one of my best players in League Two. That's Dundalk for you. Dundalk, like it's great that they got to Europa League, but they're nowhere near the Arsenal. And neither are Rapid Wien and Molde, but they're those type of sides that if they play well and we play badly, they could cause us problems. But even then, we should still be dominating them. Bro, I'm gonna go now, but good luck. No, thank you very much, Spuds, Ali. Like, really appreciate the support with all of you guys, and thank you once again for the like. I guess you're one of the three that liked the video on that. But how do you think Arteta will do in the knockout stages where there's emphasis on tactics and games management? That's Arsenal's weakness in my eyes. Well, this is the thing. I personally think that Arteta will have to use more of his squad. I just think it's just going to have to be mandatory. I think that you're going to see there's going to be times when in the Europa League we're going to have to play the likes of Aubameyang, play the likes of Saka, and more of our first team players, and it will probably mean that the likes of Willock and Ceballos are going to get more games in the Premier League. There's going to have to be lots more mixing, lots more rotation. It just has to be done that way. And I think that's the only way that you can do it. I mean, you're kind of seeing it with the likes of Spurs. Uh, they're struggling to deal with the Europa League and the Premier League and the League Cup, and then you have the FA Cup as well. Like Arsenal naturally have a big side, and like I think Arsenal need to utilize it. Right now, we've got quite a bit of injuries with David Luiz, Pablo Mari, you got Martinelli, and Callum Chambers. But in another few weeks, those players are going to be back, and we're going to be able to get like to really do well. Top five contenders for. Oh yeah, easily, we're top five contenders. I would say that it's between us, Leicester, right now for winning the Europa League. At the and Spurs. And then dependent on who comes down from the Champions League, which is always interesting, which is to be honest, the only reason why I kind of really watch the Champions League right now. Maybe you might get the odd game where Bayern Munich go and slap someone like 5-0 or something like that. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who comes down from the Champions League. But it's all in Arsenal's hands right now. These are the easy part. So let's kind of blood our youngsters, in my opinion, and let's just go out there and get the win. But I would say thank you, everyone. Joseph, thank you, Spuds, and Abdul, and whoever else that might have joined the stream that didn't put a comment in the chat. Do you think Arteta 3-year Champions League is realistic? It's probably not realistic, but you know what? You got a dream and you got to have a target. And this is not even a football thing. I say this even in my current role, my business role right now. You got to have a dream and a target. And if we win the Europa League, we automatically get into the Champions League. I think our best 11, if we can sort out our front three and get them clicking, then we could do something in the Champions League. But to win it, we are going to need we're going to need to put upgrades in various different positions, which is something that I don't think that we will have the money to do. But I think that we definitely, within 3 years, could be able to go pretty far in the Europa League. I think we could get back to the days of getting to the quarterfinals of the Champions League during that time. I think that could quite easily happen. But for me, looking at what Liverpool have done, I think we need to invest and get a more special talent. But that's my kind of last point of the night. But leave your comments below to whoever else wasn't on the live stream and is watching this. I hope we get the win. We should get the win. And yeah. But yes, I'll see you soon though, Joseph. I should be putting a video out Thursday night, if not sometime midday Friday. I'll giving you my thoughts on the Europa League game. I should be Europa League win. But until then, check out my other videos and I will see you all next time. Peace.